Hi, and welcome back to the Weight of the Law podcast. I'm here again with my colleague Sarah Keeley, and we are talking today about arrangements for Christmas in relation to family law and for children.
It's always a difficult subject for separated parents when they need to think about the arrangements for Christmas. Obviously, when they're together, families have their own traditions and routines, and it's often difficult enough to sort of separate that between their own families, let alone blended families or separated families. So we always advise clients to think about these things as far in advance as possible, just to give time to make those arrangements and also to take legal advice if you need to. It is possible to make applications to the court about Christmas arrangements, but ideally we encourage couples to attend mediation. That can often be a good forum for discussing things like the arrangements at Christmas.
I think Christmas is the most emotive time of the year as well. I think when it comes to things like Easter, the summer holidays, you don't have all that emotion tied up with it. For some people, Christmas Day, I mean, it is effectively one day, but for some people it is one of the most important days of the year, and it is very difficult to, I think, separate yourself and how you feel about not seeing your children from what your children want, and that's really hard. And I think we know that the courts will generally, if they're involved, a judge would say that every other year is fair.
Yeah, I think the difficulty then is that even if you say every other year, how do you divide up every other year? So do you say every other year, Christmas Day and Boxing Day with Dad, the following year with Mum, or do you say Christmas Day with Mum, Boxing Day with Dad, and then alternate that? And some couples will even share Christmas Day and have a handover at lunchtime on Christmas Day. So there's no sort of one size fits all, but I think, as you say, you have to come at it from the perspective of the children, and it's difficult to do because obviously as parents it is an important time and you want to be able to spend that time with your children, but for the children, they don't want to feel that they're being sort of pulled in different directions. And it's a practical question as well in terms of, do you want them in the car for 2 or 3 hours on Christmas Day?
I think that's the other thing, isn't it? It depends on the logistics. So if the parents live close to each other, it's easier. But if there is going to be a substantial journey on Christmas Day,
it's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal. And I think for some children, they prefer the idea of waking up in the home that they spend more time in. Other children see the benefit of having two homes and
two Christmas days.
Two
lots of presents.
It's very every case has to be fact specific, and it very much depends on what is best for your children. But I think it is really hard because it is such an emotive time of year to try and separate yourself and how you feel about it from what's best for the children. And I think that's why it's sensible to have those conversations early on so that you can work out what might be the sort of sticking points for both parties. And if you can't reach an agreement, then you've got time to go to a mediator to see if somebody objective can try and help you to work out what's best for the children. And depending on the ages of the children, you can also involve a child mediator who can speak to the children and get an idea of what they might want. Obviously, if you can't reach an agreement through child mediation, collaborative process, then the court is an option, but it is a blunt instrument.
I think also it's important to point out that, and I've certainly had it before, clients coming to me even sort of October time, saying we haven't been able to agree the arrangements for Christmas, can we make an application to the court? But that's just not enough time. If you make an application in October, you're very unlikely to have a hearing to resolve it by the Christmas holidays.
And we still have cases where people get in touch with us a couple of days before Christmas in an absolute, emotional state, understandably, because they haven't got arrangements sorted out and they're probably not going to see their child on Christmas Day or any time close to Christmas Day. So it is important to
Plan ahead.
Plan ahead. Even though you don't want to be thinking about Christmas in August, although you do have to book most Father Christmas visits in August, it is something you need to do. But obviously we are always going to advocate mediation, ADR, any kind of ADR over and above going to court in the first instance.
Yep.
Thanks for listening and see you next time.